Good morning and welcome to another edition of the Steelers Roundtable. I'm Paulk, joined in studio by Chris Adamski.
I'm not Mark.
And hopefully Mark Cavoli will be joining us a little bit later on the telephone line here. First of all, Chris, I want to mention the fact that Super Bowl 50 is coming up in another week and a half. But I got to go back to Sunday. Before we even talk anything Steelers, clearly, watching that game on Sunday, I kept telling and I mentioned to my wife, I said, you know what, here's the deal is, you have Arizona playing Carolina, and I never thought Arizona had a chance in this game. I mean, even before, 2 or 3 days before kickoff, I kept thinking to myself, Carolina is clearly a better football team, but so many folks in the media, I think, were in love with Arizona. For some reason, whether they, had some, they were partial to Carson Palmer, or they like Carson Palmer, or they like Bruce Arians, whatever the deal was. I think they were blinded by the fact that Carolina is simply a better football team. And then you look at Denver, who went over New England, in which I thought to myself a couple of days before that game, no way New England is going to lose to Denver. And they did nonetheless. And I think what you have here is a Super Bowl pairing now. When you look at Denver against Carolina, and my first thought after watching those two games, Chris, was they have absolutely no shot, Denver, of beating Carolina. In Super Bowl 50 in the San Francisco Bay Area, absolutely no shot. But here the thing is, I try to evaluate those teams, especially Denver, based on how they looked against the Steelers. And what we saw was three different kinds of teams in Denver. The one we saw in the first half of the regular season game, the one we saw in the second half of that game, and the one we saw in the fourth quarter against New England. I don't know who the Broncos are. I have absolutely no clue. I wouldn't bet on them with your money. So it's one of those deals I don't know. But one thing, the Steelers were 2-2 against teams that were in the conference championship game. I don't know what that means, but I think what it says really is that the Steelers, gave themselves, they barely made the playoffs, but I think they compete with just about anybody. And I think this explains one of the reasons why Mike Tomlin was so kind of broken up about, losing, to Denver the way he did, because that's a team he felt he should have beaten and probably would have beaten New England. I really believe that, in the conference championship game. But your take, are you getting what you expected in the Super Bowl? Carolina, Denver?
Well, the AFC was so, I'll just be blunt, weak. Yeah. Up in the air, you could say wide open. It's a bunch of nice words to say, and I don't feel like there was a dominant team, a really, really good team, which goes back to what you're saying about Mike Tomlin being, more upset losing this year than maybe in the past. I think he realized New England wasn't a classic New England team that was going to be tough to beat, or really tough to beat. I still don't know if they would have won that game, but and we'll never will know. And Denver, this isn't Peyton Manning that we know of years past, that's for sure. Mm-hmm. The one thing I will say about Denver, and you've said it, is I thought that and New England's offensive line wasn't very good, but I thought Denver's game plan and their pass rush in particular. I'm not going without saying. I guess Tom Brady got hit 20 times, I guess, or knocked down 20 times in that game, or whatever the stat was. Which
he was harassed.
Yeah. I would say that. And if they can do that now, and I thought Brady did a decent job actually, sort of at least getting rid of the ball and kind of avoiding sacks for most of those times. And of course Cam Newton's a little better equipped to handle that than Tom Brady is. A little understatement there.
6'5", 250.
Yeah, with speed too, to get around. And going back to what you said about Carolina. Now, I had a chuckle whenever I think it was 538. The Nate Silver, that works for ESPN now.
My numbers for the election were better than his both times, I must say. But anyway, go ahead.
Well, I always thought it's kind of a little tangent here. The NCAA tournament, whenever they brag, we pick 64 of the 68 teams. Well, first of all, there's 32 automatic bids. That doesn't count. And then there's like 25 teams that automatically make it.
Exactly.
So really, you're like 50-50 on the team. Yeah.
Okay, I don't want to distract you, but your point.
And the same thing with Nate Silver. He's like, well, I predicted California would go to Obama. Well, no crap, everybody did. Anyway, but it made me chuckle whenever it said it was they were 11-1, and he said that the worst 11-1 team of all time, Carolina. And people are kind of right now they're probably the worst 18-1 or 17-1 team of all time.
Nuts.